Hi everybody, I'm Greg.
And I'm Katie. Welcome to the Meeple Society. Today we are counting down our top 10 abstract strategy games. But before we get started, please like the video, subscribe to the channel if you like this type of content. Of course, hit that bell icon if you want any notification of future content.
Or if you want to follow us on social media, click the link below and find it all there.
All right. So,
Top 10 abstracts.
top 10 abstracts.
This is your go-to thing. You love abstracts.
I like them. I never win them. Well, I won't say never, but I rarely win them. Okay, so I think I must have picked 10 that I actually win once in a blue moon. I don't know.
We did on Pub Meeple again.
We did. I think
put
we
the
had
lists
like
together.
95, 92, something like that. I don't
Something
remember
like
how
that.
many there were. There were a decent number on there.
Crossovers. What do you
Um,
think? I'm thinking 3. at least.
3?
Looking at my list, thinking of your list, I'm thinking 3. There could be a possible 4th one, but I'm not quite sure.
I don't.
But I'm going with 3.
Okay, I'll agree with 3. I can't see you. Okay, maybe 4 on that one. Okay, I'll go 4.
Okay.
We'll see.
Who wants to go first?
I guess I will.
Okay.
All right, my number 10 is a small abstract strategy that has the most beautiful polyomino pieces I've ever seen. This is Project L. Project L, the idea with it is you have little cards that you are trying to fill in the spaces with some small polyomino type pieces, anywhere from 1 square up to, I want to say, 6 on some of the larger one. With the expansions, I think they give you 6 square pieces. You get multiple actions in a turn. You're filling in cards, you're grabbing new cards. I don't know, I've always loved this one. The pieces are so satisfying. I really like this one, but that is Project L.
This was, I think, was 17.
Okay.
My number 10 is one that I know won't even be in your top 100 of abstract games.
Well, we only had like 95,
And
so it's got to be
that
there somewhere.
is the Duke.
Oh, yeah, no.
She just does not like the Duke. I love the Duke. The Duke is kind of like chess in a way. Each piece that's on the board has its movement, the way it moves on the board, kind of like the cards from Onitama. And then you have a bag of pieces too that are eventually going to come out, and the whole goal is to catch
The Duke.
to the other player's Duke though. But it's really cool because you're just trying to set up the player with the way you're moving your pieces, and it's really cool. It's all wood. It looks great on the board too. But yeah, so that's my number 10, the Duke.
Yeah, I can guarantee that one won't be a crossover. All right. My number 9. My number 9 was a Kickstarter that we backed a while back. We've gotten to play it 2-player. We've played it 4-player now. I really would love to try at the full 8-player game, but we'll see what happens. I think it plays 8. Anyway, that is Trailblazers.
Oh, okay.
Trailblazers is one. You have these little, they're little bitty rectangular cards that are waterproof or water resistant at least. I wouldn't
You're able
put
to
them
play the game
underwater.
on the trail.
Right. But you are laying them down to make one of 3 different trails, or hopefully add to all 3, either a biking, hiking, or kayaking trails. And the goal is to get from camp and take a trail all the way back to another part of that same camp. And you're doing this with 3 different camp types: your hiking camp, your biking camp, and your kayaking camp. So you've got 2 sets of trails and 1 waterway, basically. And the expansions add animals to it, and the physical hiker to it. I really like this one. It's so thinky and brain-burny. You're drafting the cards, so what you start off with, you're never going to see that hand again. So you better choose what you want, because it's not coming back to you. I love this one, but that is Trailblazer.
It's a decent game. And I'm the one that backed it too.
You are.
My number 9 is the one Azul that I really, really like, and that's Summer Pavilion.
Okay.
This is not like the rest of the Azuls, but this one is where you're drafting all the tiles from the center, but you don't have to instantly place them. You can wait till all the tiles are placed, then you can place it, and you even have 4 little areas around the outside of the board that you can save for the next round. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, and it's just the way you place them is how many points you're going to score at the end of the game. It's really cool. Or actually during the game, isn't it? Yeah. Right?
Yeah, you score
Yep,
during the game as you
Yep.
complete the flowers and whatnot.
But it's really cool. I mean, because you can get extra actions if you close in certain areas. It's just really, really good. I mean, it's basically you're building pavilions is what it's supposed to be. They look more like flowers of different colors, and then you have one that's going to be random colors.
Multicolor, yeah.
But yeah, it's number 9, Azul Summer Pavilion.
Okay, well.
I have to make sure I get that Summer Pavilion in there.
Right, there are 4 different Azuls now, and ironically, this is the one that showed up at my number 8. So this is our first crossover. Almost
Summer
a direct,
Pavilion?
yeah, Summer Pavilion.
Oh, wow.
This showed up as my number 8. I do love this one, and like I said, it does look like flowers, but it scores similar to Azul, where you're scoring. Like if you put 1 petal in, you're scoring a point. If you put 2 petals in, now you're scoring 2 points. So you're scoring that same flower twice, or that pavilion twice. We did have to we came up with our own little cheat code for remembering to take our extra actions.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
because you always forgot. So I just grabbed a bunch of clear garden stones, and whenever we knew we took that action, we put a clear garden stone in the center there of the action we took. That way we know we did it, and we didn't cheat ourselves out of any extra actions or accidentally do them twice. But yeah, for everything you said, it's just, I love the fact that you draft everything at once, and then you can figure out what to do with them. You're not putting them down immediately. So you're not committing to something that you may or may not be able to finish. Yeah, but that's Azul Summer Pavilion.
All right. My number 8 is going to be probably one of our next crossovers. This is a card game with a cloth board. This is Mandala. It's a 2-player game where you are placing cards from your hand out into the mandalas.
Into the meadow, the mountain. Is it the field, the mountain? Yeah. It's the meadow and the mountain, or the field and the mountain. I don't remember
Something like that.
Something
But
like
you're
that.
trying to get all the colors out there. Once all the colors are out there, either in the mountain or in the fields, you can now you break it,
Yeah.
and then the person who breaks it gets to pick what color of the cards they
Well,
pick
it's not
out of
so
it.
much the person who broke it; it's the person who has more.
That's right. The one who has the
more
most cards in there
represented in their field
gets to take out.
Yeah.
Gets to take whatever color they're wanting, and you're going to put them in your cups at the bottom. You're going to put one in a cup, and the rest, one in a scoring section, and then the rest of them in the cup. And then at the end of the game, however far along your scoring is like the first one, you're only scoring 1 point for each, and it just grows bigger and bigger as you go down. So you want the ones that have higher points at the end, though. But yeah. You'll pull out your cup, see what you have, score them appropriate as to what you have the card sitting at. It's a fun game, 2-player game. Mm-hmm. She normally wins this, though, I think. I
love
believe.
this game.
Yes, I know. Probably a little bit more than me, apparently, because it's my number 8, Mandala.
All right, my number 7 is a game we discovered at the Dice Tower Retreat. It's actually been out for a few years. We discovered at the retreat, not this past year, but the year before. Immediately bought it on our way home, but this is Sagani.
Oh.
Sagani is... I've seen other games that do similar things.
Novaluna.
Habitats does it. Novaluna does it. But with Sagani, you are you're picking tiles and you're putting tiles into your tableau. And then you're putting sound stones on them, basically little round wooden discs on them. Each of the tiles have little arrows, flame arrows going in different directions, and you're putting those down in those areas. You're putting the sound stones down in those areas. And that flame arrow is telling you that in order to satisfy the spirit, you need to have an orange tile in that direction, in the northeast direction. Or you need to have a yellow tile straight north of this one. The difference with this one versus Habitats or Novaluna is it doesn't have to be directly connected. Right. It just has to be somewhere in that direction. Mm-hmm. The trick, though, is you only have so many sound stones. And once you get them all out on your board, if you don't start getting them back, you start taking penalties because you have to start using the red ones. And once you get the red ones, you can't get rid of them. Mm-hmm. And those are negative points. I really like this one. We need to get it to the table a little more often, but
Yeah, I think actually our copy is still unopened.
it probably is. It probably is. So anyway, that is Sagani, my number 7.
Okay, my number 7, I think will be another crossover. I think.
All
I
your
know you
crossovers
like
are
it,
really low.
but yeah, I know, but then yours are probably higher. We'll see. I think
Well,
this is
Summer
a
Pavilion is
crossover, but
higher.
I'm not 100% sure. We have had one. I know we'll have a second one, but this one is the one I think maybe for.
Okay.
This is Acropolis.
Okay.
This is a game that Gen Con 2023
Yeah.
Root Shirt guy had to sit down and
He
demo.
did.
And I was like, okay. We sat down and I really liked it. How you build it out because the different color tiles do different things and they score more points if they're higher or they need to be grouped together or they need to be away from everything. And
Yeah.
it's just a big puzzle of how you're going to place them out there and how you're going to score your points. And I said the one who has the best Acropolis wins at the end of the game.
It's a good one. I really like that one.
Yep, that's my number 7, Acropolis.
Okay. All right, well, my number 6 is one that, well, I played for the first time at the 24, although it was not on air. I would love to get a copy of this big enough to actually play on air, but I don't know if that's going to happen.
Oh, okay.
Abduction. This is a cute little abstract game where the whole idea is you are essentially trying to line up your ducks, get them all in a row, get them all into a pattern of some sort. You're pulling ducks out of this little rubber spaceship, which is just absolutely cute. The ducks are teeny tiny little things. I've actually thought about buying rubber ducks, but then I'm like, what would we use to pull them out of? And then the car, you still would be able to see the car. Anyway, I put a lot of thought into this. So with this, you have your player card has 10 spots on it that the ducks are swimming in a specific stream pattern. And your goal is to match one of 3 cards that are laid out in the middle of the table with a pattern before somebody else does. It may want 4 ducks of the same color in a row. It gives all sorts of different patterns that it wants these ducks in, and you're trying to match those patterns. Simple as that. You're playing action cards in order to move the ducks around. The action card may say remove all of one color from your board, and then you have to move out all the other ducks up into the correct row. Because if you pull 3 ducks off your board, everybody else swims forward everybody moves forward to fill in the gaps, and you put the 3 new ducks at the end. So hopefully you can make it work that you fill in the gaps just right and you match that pattern to take that card. So I love this one. It's very thinky, very, very thinky, but it's a lot of fun.
This is a hard one to play with big hands.
Yes.
Or fat fingers, because it's hard. The ducks are so freaking tiny.
They are very tiny.
And the opening in the UFO isn't that big.
No. I have no problem.
Well, you have those long, skinny fingers. You can just reach in there, and nails, and just reach in there and grab them. You get big, stubby fingers like mine. It's hard to... Do I have something? No, that's a callus. What is that? Oh, okay. I think I got them, and you squeeze them too hard, and they shoot back out anyway. But anyway, I'm not sure where this landed on mine, so it's not in my top 20. So
I didn't think it would be.
What are we on? 6?
6.
My number 6 is actually a surprise for me that it's on here, though. But it is a brain burny puzzle, and that is Calico.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. Even though it has cats on it, it's still, I don't see it with cats. It's just interesting. It's a puzzle, a very abstract puzzle, trying to fit I guess they're quilt pieces.
Yes, they're supposed to be quilt
that you're trying
pieces.
to put in, and you're trying to match them up depending on what your score tiles are out there. You have 3 different score tiles, and you're trying to match the color or the pattern on it around your score tile. Also, you're trying to put a string of a certain type of pattern or color together to get the cats to come out or to get the buttons to come out. And buttons and cats are extra points at the end of the game.
Yeah, they are.
It's just a really brain-burning game that frustrates the hell out of me, but it's still a fun game to play.
It's very brain-burny. So
that is Calico.
All right. Well, my number 5 is an old one. This is one that we actually pulled from our travel collection. And just played it recently, and I was very surprised how much I liked it. But this is Pixel. Pixel is quintessentially, it's a tic-tac-toe game, more or less, on a much bigger board, though. The goal is to get 3 of your pieces in a row, but you are limited in your choices on where you can place them. There are 2 slide pieces on the board, one on horizontally, one vertically. At the start of the game, everybody starts with 1 piece in the middle, but you can only move, and I think it tells you where to set the slides to begin with, but you can only move 1 slide at a time. So if this slide is locked into this row and this slide is locked into this row, but you need it to be up here somewhere, you can only move 1 of them, and then you put your piece at the intersecting spot. So it may not get you right where you want it, but hopefully it'll get you close to where you need to be. But the problem is that now your next 3 opponents are all moving those slides around. So the next time your turn comes around, neither one of them are where you want them to be.
Nope.
It's really interesting. I love the fact that the slides dictate where you can go. You've only got, I mean, you've technically got 10 choices. Well, 20 choices, but you've got to narrow that down. And then, yeah, I love it. I absolutely love this game. So anyway, that is Pixel.
You're number 5.
My number 5.
I say that because I couldn't remember what number we were on.
Okay.
My number 5, I think, this is another one I think will be a crossover.
Oh, okay.
That's Cascadia.
Okay.
This is all about your building. What do they call those? I want to say terrain, but it's not what they call them in the game.
No,
though.
it's an ecosystem. Or ecosystem.
Yeah. You're building the habitats of the different areas like snowy mountains or swamps or rivers or forests or whatever, and you're attracting the animals to go in those places because each tile will show you what type of animal could go on there. But as you draft a tile and you draft a animal basically, and you put it on your board. The animal does not have to go on the piece you just drafted. It could go anywhere on your board as long as there's not an animal already there. Plus, there's some when you finish, you actually get it onto your board and you put something on it. You get an acorn for it, and the acorns can be turned in to change up the order of what you take. You don't have to take the tile and the animal that's right below it. You can take, say, like you want this tile, but you want that animal over there, so you can take it and just spend your acorn. Acorns are worth points at the end of the game, though.
Pine cones, but yes.
Pine cones, acorns. It came out of a tree. And it's usually on the forest floor. Anyway.
Okay.
I think they all knew what I was saying, and they're all probably yelling at me saying pine cones.
Pine cones.
Anyway, but yeah, that is a cool tile placement game that you're building stuff with. But yeah, that is my number 5, Cascadia.
Okay. My number 4 is one we've actually had for quite some time now. I don't remember I think we introduced this to Mark and Jess rather than the other way around, I think. Anyway, this is a dice placement abstract game. This is Sagrada. It takes its name from the cathedrals in Spain, and the idea is you are building a stained glass window out of beautifully colored dice, 5 different colors. The trick being you get a stained glass window, and that's your player board, and you're drafting a set of dice. You pull so many dice out of the bag, enough for, 2 per player plus 1 out of the bag. One person rolls them, and then you're passing those dice around. You can't re-roll them, but you're drafting one and putting it into your window, and then it goes around and then snake draft back, and then you're drafting one of the remainders and putting it into your window. The trick being that you cannot have 2 of the same color next to each other, and you can't have 2 numbers next to each other. So you can't have 2 6s next to each other. So that creates some issues the further you get across your board. And of course, you can't just mix and match. You have to start on one edge anywhere, and you have to build off of that. You can't just put a piece of window piece here and a window piece here and then down here. You have to build logically off of that first piece. And it creates some issues if you don't have the right dice available to you. Because your window may say this particular spot has to be a 6. Doesn't matter what color, but it has to be a 6. But the spot right next to it has to be yellow. So you don't want to use a yellow 6 because then you're not going to be able to place the other die. I like the puzzle of this one. I really do like the puzzle. But yeah, that is Sagrada.
Yeah, this was 14 on mine.
close.
Just,
Okay.
we played the heck out of this game.
We
when
did
first
play
got
a
it, and
lot of
it was
it.
one of those that
I even had it on
think
my
we played it way
phone.
too much, and I got tired of it.
Oh,
and maybe
no, I could play this
later,
one again.
Give it a
Easy.
couple years, and maybe it'll
Oh, okay.
be good
I
again.
had it on my phone for a long time, and I switched phones and never got it back. Loved it.
Okay, my number 4 is another chess type of game. You'd think I'd love chess. I am horrible at the game of chess. But this is one we've had for a very long time, and I've already just talked about this earlier in the
Okay.
thing with the Duke. This is Onitama.
All
This
right.
is one where you got your Grandmaster and you got a bunch of pawns, and you're moving them across the board to either capture the Grandmaster or put your Grandmaster in his throne.
Yes.
And the way you do it is you have 3 cards in front of you, the other player's 3 cards in front of them, and
2.
you have a card beside you. Is it 2? I thought
2
it was
cards.
3.
Nope,
2
it's 2
cards,
cards.
okay. Oh, yes, it's a 5-card thing.
Yep.
So you're picking 5 cards and you're putting them out. Each of you get 2, 1 to the side. You're going to play one of your cards and move a piece in the way the card says. Then you're going to put that card in the middle and take the card out of the middle, and it just keeps rotating back and forth. And
Yeah.
you're just moving your pieces around. So there's none of this. It's like, I can't remember, what does this guy do? How does this guy move? How does that guy move? No, it's on your card, and it's any of the pieces on the board can move like that. Just one at a time, though, but it's really cool, really fun to play. It's a 2-player game.
Yeah.
This is another game we played a lot of when we first got it.
Oh, yeah, we did. We played this at the laundromat one day. Our dryer was broken or something. We had to go to the laundromat, and we sat there in the laundromat and played this for like an hour, hour and a half, waiting for stuff to dry. It was great.
Yep. So that is my number 4,
Onitama.
Onitama.
Okay. Well, my number 3, gosh, we're on 3 already. All right, well, my number 3 is our second crossover, and that is Acropolis.
Okay.
Acropolis, as you said, it is a city building style of game where there's multiple colors in the different tiles, and you can build out and you can build up, and you get points based on where you're at come the end of the game, what you've been able to accomplish in your city.
Yeah, and you got to have the score tiles out. Too.
Yes. Yeah,
Because if you don't, they don't score.
yeah, the tiles don't score anything if you don't have at least one of the scoring tiles. And the tiles are all drafted. It's all a drafting mechanism. So, yeah, I love it. It's a good one.
Cool. My number 3 was a Goodwill pickup that we've had for a while now. I think it's one of the few Steven Jackson games we have. That is Bazaar.
I am okay.
You're shocked that it's not on your list.
It's
eh?
14 on mine.
okay.
It is 14.
But
on
this
mine.
is all about, you have a certain amount of markets out, and the way you're doing it is you're going to start out with some gems, and there is a trade board up there where you are now going to take your gems that you have, and you can trade them around for different gems. Like, I've got this red, but if I trade it in, I can get a white and a green one. I don't need the green one, but I do need the white one. And on my next turn, I can turn this green one in, and I can get 3 yellow ones. And I do need the 3 yellow ones. So,
Yeah.
so you're just shifting all your stuff around just to make that one market, get to the one market to
Right.
get that.
And the markets never change.
order.
Well, let me rephrase that. There are dozens of markets in the game.
Yes.
But once you've picked your market, you have 2 markets. Once you've picked them, they don't change. So you can kind of plan out not that I ever do, because I'm not that good at this game, but I love it.
Yes.
But it's one of those games that my brain can't think
Yeah, and there is
more than a
there's
step
a
or 2
more
ahead.
recent game out now. I cannot remember what game it is
Oh,
now
I don't
that we
know.
said that it is a lot like this. It has this kind of mechanic
kind of
where you're
market in
trading
it.
things around to get other things
I don't
to be able to
remember.
fulfill
Orders.
orders. But yeah, this is a really cool game.
Yeah.
If you haven't tried it, try it. It's a very
Yeah.
old game, and that is my number 3, Bazaar.
Yeah, that was a lucky find. I'm surprised how much we really enjoyed that one. Okay, my number 2 is yet another crossover. I must like all of these games so much more than
So
you.
that's 3 total crossovers.
This is 3 crossovers, yeah.
I said 3, possibly 4.
Yep,
And I said what one
and
I thought
said
might be
4, and that one's already hit. So anyway, my number 2 is Mandala. As you explained, Mandala is a neat card game, beautiful artwork where you are choosing a card to put onto the mountain, which is the center of the mandala, or into the field. You can only draw cards back up if you put into the mountain. So you can draw up to 3 cards, I think up to a certain hand limit, if you put into the mountain. So it encourages you to put cards into the mountain. even though you may not be the one to get them. Once all 7 colors show up in a mandala, whether it be the mountain or either of the 2 fields, then that mandala breaks and you distribute the cards out of the center, off the mountain. I love the thinkiness of this one. You got 2 mandalas going at a time. You may end up with a handful of cards you can't do anything with. You can add 2 colors that are already there. But if the yellow already appears in your field and I have a hand of yellow, I can't play on this mandala because it's already on your side of the board. I have to play it over here, or
But
I
I can
have
play
to
more
get other
yellows out there
stuff.
because I have it
You are,
already on my
yeah,
side.
you can continue playing yellows because you have it. Yeah, I really like the thinkiness of this one. It's a really great 2-player card game. But that's Mandala.
My number 2 is a game we have had multiple, when I mean multiple, probably I think at least 5 copies of this game, and we've not bought it at full price yet. The first game we got, it was given us to the husband of the designer.
Oh, where did that
The rest
fall in
of
mine?
them you got.
I found it Goodwill, yeah.
But this is Quirkle.
Yes.
This was actually a Spiel des Jahres winner.
Yeah, I keep
I
forgetting
think
that.
like 2011, I want to say. But this is all a really cool tile placement game out there. It's kind of like dominoes, where you have your tiles behind so nobody can see it, and there's a grid out there. It almost looks like a grid of Scrabble. But you're putting out there, and you have shapes on the tiles, and you have colors as well. And if you're doing shapes, it's all got to be of one shape. If you're doing colors, it's got to be one of each type of shape in that color.
Yeah.
So you're trying to figure out where you're at. And then when you place it out, you score depending on, okay, if I put it in this row, okay, there's 3 in that row, I get 3 points. But this also connects to that row, so that has 6 more points on it, so I get 6 more points. Yeah. Or if you finish what is called a Quirkle, that's 12 of the right type that finishes that set off.
6.
It's 6 because you get 12 points.
Right.
Because it finishes off that row, and then nobody else can place on that row. And you
Yeah.
basically you get 12 points. You double what points you're going to get, though. But this is really cool because you could be sitting there doing this and doing that, and you're like, okay, I'm pretty good. And then somebody comes in, oh, look at that. I'm going to add these 2 tiles, and look, I get a Quirkle there, and then that one's 6 points. So I just scored 18 points. But it is, once the last person's out of tiles, the game ends, and you add up scoring. One with the most wins.
Well, it's the first person who runs out of tiles, and then you play. Everybody gets 1 more turn, I think, or something like that. I don't know. Anyway, that's a great one. It came in at number 20 for me.
Wow.
But we've never failed to have a good game of that one.
Yeah, we have played this a lot.
Yes. This is the game we were playing on New Year's Eve when the power went out. 25 people in the house. And we're all playing games in the dark. It was fun, though. But yeah, this is the one that was being played.
I don't remember that.
You might not have been in it.
I thought we were playing something else.
You might have been in a different game. I was in a game of Quirkle over in the dining room when the power went out that night. So anyway.
Well, that's my number 2, Quirkle.
Number 2. Okay. Well, my number 1, let me roll this back up. I moved my thing down. My number 1 is our 4th crossover, and this is Cascadia. So, Cascadia, as you said, it's based in the Pacific Northwest. It's all about building out the ecosystems for the various wildlife up there. You are drafting tiles and animals. The idea being that you're putting the tile into your ecosystem somewhere and putting the animal onto either that tile if it will accept it, or another tile in your habitat. And hopefully in a pattern that will score you points. There are 5 different cards out, one card for each animal. There's multiple cards in the game, so there are multiple scoring options for each animal. You're picking one at the start of the game, and that's the pattern you're trying to make with the animals to score points.
Yeah, I kind of left that out when I talked about it.
Yeah, that's all right.
Had to leave you something to talk about.
Gotta leave you something to talk about? Okay.
I
But anyway, I love the way it plays, though. It kind of scores a little bit like Life of the Amazonia in that aspect, but much simpler, much more streamlined, I think.
Maybe Life on the Amazonia scores like this.
Well, yes, because this was out first. Okay, fine. Anyway, that is my number 1, Cascadia.
So that's 4 crossovers.
4 crossovers.
So I was more right than you.
I said 4.
No.
I
Can
said
we rewind the
4.
tape?
I will. I said 4
Because I said
right off
3,
the bat.
possibly 4, and you go, okay, yeah, I agree with you with 3. I don't think there's 4.
No, I said I'll go with 4.
Rewind the tape.
I will rewind it right here, guys. I'll put in the clip right here.
We'll see.
Okay, I'll agree with 3. I can't see you. Okay, maybe 4 on that one. Okay, I'll go 4. I said I think there's 4. I was right. What's your number 1?
My number 1 is one that's not even in your top 50.
I was going to say, I will laugh if it makes it 5.
My number 1 is not even in your top 50. This
Okay.
is the game that you just don't like, and I really like. We played this as one of the games in the 24.
Oh, yeah. I
The
don't
24
like this
last year, and this is Skyrise.
one.
This
Where
is
did
a
this fall?
kind of an auction game where you have these buildings with numbers on the back end of it, and that's what you're using to auction with. The number is your bid, basically. And you're going around the 4 different districts. If you're playing a 4-player game, if you're playing 2, there's only 2 districts. But you're going around, there's a central district, and then bridging out to the other districts, and you're starting in the central district at the beginning of the game, and you're going out, placing your bids on spaces on the way out. And whoever ends up with winning the bid after everybody passes, he gets to place that building right there and score whatever, if he has anything special in there, or gets to pick up a tile, he gets to put it on his board. As he fills up the board with the different tiles, you're going to score points. Like if you have 4 of one type, say the brown building, you're going to score the amount of brown buildings times 10. Or no, you get 10, the amount of buildings times 10 because you have 10 points per building. Or if you go past it, now you're not going to score as many points.
Right.
But those are all going to be overflowed into there, and those are going to be scoring points at the end. This is just a really fun, thinky, strategic game of how far do you want to push these guys, because I really need this building over there so I can pick up that tile so I can add it to my board. But will they get it there? And then once you get there, will somebody outbid you and move it? Because then the next one, the person can either start the auction at a building he just built or back at the center district. Yeah. But so it's really cool. I don't know why you don't like this, but I do.
I did not care for the one game I played of it, but it came in at 58 for me. So.
See, I said one in your top
50.
50.
It beat the Duke. The Duke came in at like 87, 86.
But yeah, this is my number 1, Skyrise.
All right, well, that is our top 10.
Yep. Do you want to go to 20?
How about 15?
15?
15. So my number 11 through 15, 11 was Azul, base Azul. 12 was Mandala Stones, which I thought was really, I had forgotten how it played till we played it recently. Well, when we did the M's. I really liked that one. It was interesting the way you have to maneuver everything.
You have to move your artist around and pick up the tiles in the area that matches what you are.
And they have to go down in a certain order.
Yeah, and you can't take the ones that has another artist by.
Yeah, it was interesting the way it did. My number 13 was Cube Fusion. This is another really older, a much older game.
That is one heck of a abstract game.
That is
really weird.
Super abstract. You're stacking these gorgeous clear acrylic pieces that have colored balls in them, and you're trying to make, I want to say 3 in a row. It's kind of almost like
something like that.
a 3D version of tic-tac-toe. But yeah, it was really interesting. I really liked what it did. Number 14 was Bazaar. We talked about that one already. And 15 was Reef.
That was 16.
All about the fish. Well, see, my 16 was Calico, so it was there. Sometimes it's just almost too brain burning for me. You'd think the cat one would be higher up. How did that happen?
I don't know.
I don't know.
My number 11 was a game that you picked up at Goodwill, too.
Oh.
This is Bladder.
Oh, okay.
This is it's kind of like checkers, but yet it's kind of like football.
It has a football theme.
It has a pigskin ball that sits on top of these little guys' head. They're like this, and it fits right on top of their head. And they're running around with this ball on their top of their head, and you're trying to get them to the other side.
Yep.
Why, if somebody comes through and knocks it off, now they got the ball, and now they're trying to go to the opposite side, and you're trying to stop them. It's just really crazy,
It's
really cool,
fun.
and I just love the little. Show them a picture, okay?
I will show a picture.
But these little guys, they're so cool looking.
They are.
I think that's what makes the game for me. But
Yeah.
it's such an old game. I'd never heard of it. And you
I
brought it
wish
home.
the
I was like,
box
what
were
in the
in
world
better
is this?
condition.
But
Yeah.
it's a really cool game.
It's an interesting fun. It's a fun one.
So my number 12 is Elements. This is a card game where it's kind of a bluffing game almost. Kind of.
I have never
Where
been
you're
able to
trying
get this
to,
game
I think
either.
it's you're trying to get as close to 11 or something like that.
Something like
I can't
that.
exactly
I don't
remember
know.
how to play because we haven't played this in a while though. I just remember this was a big surprise because we picked this up at Gen Con or
I
something.
don't remember.
I think that was in one of those surprise boxes.
Oh, that's what it was. It was in
And
a
we
surprise
played it.
box.
It was a really cool game. My 13 was Mandala Stones.
Okay.
14 was Sagrada,
Okay.
which we already talked about, and 15 was Land versus Sea.
Okay.
This is a 2-player game that could be a 3 or 4-player game if you played teams. But yeah, that
Yeah.
was kind of cool because you're trying to close off your areas while other people are trying to keep it open, and so they can close it off and get all the crosses, which are the extra points in the game.
Yeah.
But really cool. You can't seem to figure this one out either, and I figured it out
Nope.
on the first play.
Well, yeah.
So there it is.
All right. That is it.
Our top 10 abstract games.
Plus,
Let us know what your games are.
please. What are we missing? Is there any really good ones out there we should check out? Now, we do have some of the Q games. We just have not played them in so long that I don't remember how any of them played.
Oh,
We
like
need to-
Corridor and
Yeah,
and
we
all
have,
those,
and
yeah.
they're coming up in our playing through our collection videos. So hopefully, who knows? Next year, this list may change once we get through the rest of them. There's a lot of abstracts in the next one.
All right. So until then, we'll see you at the next one.